Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA. Dan Henderson did a video with Ariel Helwani down on the beaches of Tampa, Florida. Looks like he was in full lounge mode. Not really, but had on some sunglasses, some shorts, Dan Henderson Roots of Fight T-shirt with a DH baseball cap. I could only assume that's a custom Dan Henderson hat. I'm assuming, I don't know. And, he was talking to Ariel Helwani. It's about a 14-minute long video. And he basically they started off by saying, all right, so, Lyoto got popped for some substance. And just my little footnote, apparently, it came out what substance it was. Can't remember the name off top, but it's not a PED. It's a supplement, like a readily available over-the-counter supplement that's on the banned list. So it's like if USADA said you can't use whey protein. I'm just making this up as an example. It's like if USADA said you can't use whey protein and you were using whey protein. That's the situation Lyoto's in. So he was using something. It's not a PED. It's not any anabolic steroids. No TRT. No HGH. Nothing of that sort. But Dan Henderson said he got the call from Dana saying that this fight's probably going to be out. If it's not out, then he'll let him know. Like he said, the fight's most likely going to be pulled. We'll see if we can get you a replacement. Then he said about an hour later, he got a call saying it was pulled. The most interesting thing I found out in this video is Dan Henderson doesn't get paid jack shit now. And that's why he's really pissed off. Which is totally understandable, man. Like, he's got a family to feed. He's got bills to pay. He's planning this out. And, now he doesn't get paid anything, man. Like, not even show, like, money to show. He said he only gets paid to fight. And another shitty thing is like he said he flew his family out and already bought tickets for everybody. And like, if you're flying everyone out to Florida and you're not getting paid, that just sucks. And he said Dana White offered a little compensation for camp expenses because the fighters pay out of pocket for their trainers, their coaches, their training camp, everything. And he said, it wouldn't even cover the full expenses of the camp, just something to help. And it is confirmed that he will be fighting Hector Lombard at UFC 199. Yeah. At UFC 199, he's fighting Hector Lombard, who's friggin' fresh off of the loss to Neil Magny. If you didn't see that fight, it was a pretty good fight. When I was watching that fight, actually, it was on the Mark Hunt Frank Mir card in Australia. And when I was watching that fight, I had my laptop. I was in my house in New York, and I was chilling there, and it was getting pretty late, and it's actually kind of a funny story. Not really, but, so I saw that fight, and then that fight was crazy. Neil Magny got rocked in the first round. Hector Lombard gave his all, was about to finish him. He didn't finish him. Neil Magny came back. Neil Magny in the next round came back and rocked Lombard. And then was trying to finish him with all he has, and he didn't finish him. And then in the third round, and in the end of the second round, my guy, it's like Neil Magny was working for a minute, literally over a minute, just like ground and pounding, like looking at the ref, trying to stop it. But he extended the courtesy both ways. And then in the third round, Neil Magny just came a high mount on Lombard, and then that was that. And Dan Henderson said that he was gonna, Lombard was an option for this fight, but he's not off of his. I mean, he's still on suspension for the fight because he ate a lot of blows. And that was a good fight. And the funny story part is that my laptop charger was downstairs, and then my battery was about to die. And I was waiting to see the Mir Hunt fight, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it later. And then I turned on my laptop, and then when I was like, I didn't end up falling asleep. Oh, you heard that, son? Heard my voice go, I didn't end up falling asleep, so then I just hopped on YouTube on my cell phone, and then was just fucking watched a little bit of the post-fight press conference. And so he was talking about how he's pissed off, man. Dan Henderson. He was saying all about his pay and how he doesn't have a lot of fights left, and it's a waste of camp, and that's all true. Seeing it, that sucks for him. You don't really, when stuff like this happens, it's kind of, fuck the fight. We don't get to see the fight. But when you think of all the things the fighters put into it, especially if he's not going to get compensated financially, that's like, fuck, that sucks. And Dan Henderson talked about how this was supposed to be his last fight on his contract. And now it's going to be the 199 will be his last fight on his contract. And, we don't know if he's going to fight his contract out or sign with. But he said the biggest stipulation is him setting up some type of retirement package or another job or something, which is really smart on his part. But the thing is, I don't even think that he should have to do that. I personally feel like the UFC should extend that courtesy. When Chuck Liddell retired, they made him an executive. Now, I'm not saying make every fighter that retires an executive, but don't leave these guys hanging. You know what I mean? They give a lot to you, and I like business. I like business guys and stuff like that. But I hate cold-hearted people that use their selfishness and their self-centeredness and their greed and excuse it in the name of business. It's common for someone to get fucked over and then the phrase, "Oh, it's just business," to get turned around. I don't really fuck with people like that. Dana White seems like that it's just business guy, but can't really blame him. He is running the UFC, but I think that's gonna end up to bite him in the ass later. Like, even if it's not within the business realm, you can't, dude. Just putting that bad energy out there is gonna catch up to you. So I think he should take care of the fighters, given what they put out there, man. Like, for our entertainment and shit like that. Like, he should definitely take care of Dan Henderson. And, Ariel Helwani brought up the fact that Dan Henderson was one of the first guys to really do the free agent thing and go over to Strikeforce. Hendo said he does want to end his career in the UFC. So, Dan said also he was going off on Lyoto, though. Like, oh, he's a cheater. How can he do that? I don't appreciate guys who cheat and yada, yada, yada. And I don't even want to fight him anymore. Ariel Helwani asked him, oh, do you want to still fight him? And he's like, nah, I don't even have that respect for him anymore to fight him. And it's like, well, Hendo, you've been doing TRT. And that's a legitimate steroid. And that's a legitimate, regardless of, I think his situation was legally, I don't know too much on that situation, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. But you really have no right to say anything unless you're a clean fighter. You know what I mean? So, whatever. I don't really give a fuck about that. But even when Bisping called out all the steroid user, when Bisping was going off on his Twitter rant, he mentioned Hendo on that list. So it's kind of hypocritical for Dan Henderson to go off. You would think if anyone would understand, it would be Dan Henderson. You know what I mean? And then the fact of Tim Kennedy got brought up. And he was like, dude, I don't want to fight Tim Kennedy. I don't think anybody wants to see that fight. And I was like, oh, shit. And he's like, yeah, Hector Lombard, I think that's more the fight the fans would want to see. But nah, I don't want to fight Tim Kennedy. I don't think anyone's trying to see that fight. I was like, I respect that. You know what I mean? Like, just being straight up about that. Because, you can't really bypass that, you know what I mean? Or just kind of brush it off, because it would be like, you're complaining about not getting paid, but there's a guy offering to fight you, and that would leave like a weird thing, you know what I mean? So the fact that he addressed it and addressed it very openly, I appreciate that. And in other MMA news, yes, I am a New Yorker, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Anybody from the 5 boroughs would tell you how dearly we hold Manhattan, New York City, the best city in the world, hands down. I'm not just saying that out of ego, but I've been to many cities around the world. I've been to Sydney, I've been to Paris, I've been to Italy, I've been to many places. That's not even to name the least. And within the United States, I've been on like Philly, LA, you name it, I've been there. Chicago, everywhere. And in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm not biased, but in my fully biased opinion, New York City is the greatest city in this world. And UFC is coming to Madison Square Garden. I am fucking pumped for that. I am fucking pumped for it. Because you know why? Because I'm going to try to go to that. It's going to be UFC 205. Lorenzo Fertitta confirmed that it's going to be a pay-per-view card, a title card, and that it may have Ronda Rousey. I'm not really going for that. It would be kind of cool though to see her like on the tail end of her swan song, because she's not sticking around, dude. I think what the UFC's trying to do for her, I'm getting a little off subject, but I think they're gonna give her the Misha rematch, with which they're hoping that Ronda is going to win the belt. As soon as Ronda wins the belt, she's going to retire. Mark my words. She will retire if she gets the belt. Dana White already confirmed that it's going to be Misha Ronda. But what the fuck is going to happen after if Misha Tate loses to Amanda Nunes? what's gonna happen then? Ronda Amanda? Yeah, no thank you. I'm not trying to see that. It's not that I have anything against it, but it's like, of all the possible fights, that's not the one I'm trying to see. Like how Misha Amanda, I'm not trying to see. Not that I wouldn't want to see that fight, but because there is Misha Holly too in the motherfucking waiting room. And it's like, are they making business decisions? Or are they making decisions rooted out of ego? Which is what it seems like they're doing. But whatever, man. It is what it is in that aspect. But, when it comes to MSG, I'm pumped because I've never been to a UFC event. I would like to go. And I'm not going to the Prudential Center, as I said, in Newark, because no thank you. I'd rather go see an event at MSG or at Barclays or something in New York. You know what I mean? And they said 205 is gonna be there, and they said they're gonna be looking for something in the fourth quarter in an upstate area, like a fight night in like Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, those kind of places. And yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think about Dan Henderson, that situation. What do you guys think about the whole retirement package thing? I'm in heavy favor of that. I think that the fighters should be compensated for all they did if they can't continue. You know what I mean? And, I agree. I don't want to see the Tim Kennedy fight. I like Dan Henderson's answer to that. Very open, very honest. What do you guys think about Hendo Lombard at 199? So now the fights I know is, Rockhold Weidman, Cruz Faber, Penn Siver, and now Hendo Lombard. What do you guys think of that card? Let me know. Get in the comments. Subscribe if you fuck with it. And you already know, it's Mastermind MMA.